right, strap yourselves in, folks, because today we are going deep, deep, deep into Thus Spoke Zarathustra by Friedrich Nietzsche.
This is Nietzsche, one of the most famous and challenging philosophers.
Absolutely. And we've got excerpts ready to go.
That's right.
Focusing on some
big ideas.
Really big ideas.
Like the Superman, backworldsman.
Those preachers of death.
Right.
Always a cheery topic.
Always uplifting.
Yeah. And some of those kind of like memorable encounters that Zarathustra has on his journey.
That's right.
But our mission, if we choose to accept it, is to give you some core ideas.
Yes.
And some really fascinating details from this famously complex work.
Yeah.
Without
losing you.
Losing you in the philosophical weeds.
Exactly. Yeah. Think of this as a cheat sheet to Nietzsche's greatest hits.
Yeah.
We're going to help you grasp the essence without having to wade through all of the dense prose.
I like that, a cheat sheet to Nietzsche's greatest hits thing there.
All right.
So,
all right.
We kick things off.
So we start.
Yeah, with Zarathustra descending from his mountaintop retreat after 10 years of solitude.
10 years.
10 years, man. Long time. He's been up there pondering and reflecting, and now he feels this urge to share his wisdom with humanity.
Yeah.
Not your typical Tuesday, right?
Not your typical Tuesday.
No.
This down going, though, is such a powerful image.
Okay.
It's a metaphor for bringing these really challenging ideas from the lofty heights of contemplation down into the messy, chaotic realm of human existence.
Yeah.
So it's like Nietzsche's acknowledging that philosophy isn't just this abstract exercise.
Right.
It's meant to engage with the world, even if that means ruffling some feathers along the way.
He definitely ruffles some feathers. I mean, in his first encounter, right off the bat, he meets a saint in the forest, living this life of isolation, claiming to love God, but not people.
That's right.
Finding humans too imperfect for his liking.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about starting your journey on a controversial note.
What a way to start things off.
Right.
It's a stark contrast, though, to Zarathustra's stance.
Yeah.
Who openly declares his love for humanity.
Flaws and all.
Flaws and all.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, Nietzsche is setting the stage for a challenge to traditional religious thinking.
Yeah.
And an embrace of our earthly existence, even with all of its imperfections.
So it's almost as if Zarathustra is saying, look, instead of searching for meaning in some far-off heaven, why not try to find it here?
Right.
In the midst of all this beautiful mess.
Precisely.
Right.
Now, perhaps one of the most iconic parts of the book is this section on the three metamorphoses.
Three metamorphoses.
Nietzsche describes the spirit transforming into a camel.
Okay.
A lion.
All right, I'm intrigued.
And then finally a child.
Lay it on me.
Each stage represents a step in this journey of self-overcoming, which is a central theme in all of Nietzsche's work.
Yeah.
So first we have the camel burdened by duty, tradition, expectations. It symbolizes that initial phase of accepting burdens, carrying the weight of what's given to us. Then comes the lion roaring its defiant no to those burdens.
Oh, yeah.
Fighting for freedom and self-determination.
It's like that moment when you finally realize you have a choice.
That's right.
You don't have to carry everything everyone else expects of you.
Yeah.
But saying no even to seemingly good things.
Right.
Like duty. Can be terrifying, right?
Absolutely.
But who am I to say no?
That's the lion's challenge.
Right.
To break free from the shackles of the past, even the ones that we might hold dear.
Okay, so what about that final stage, the child?
Think of the child as representing new beginnings.
Okay.
A state of openness and innocence. It's not about reverting to childishness.
Right.
But rather reclaiming a sense of wonder, creativity, and the ability to see the world anew, unburdened by past limitations.
I could see how these metamorphoses could resonate with just about anyone.
I think so.
I mean, it's like that universal experience of shedding old skins.
Yeah.
Those moments when we have to break free from what's holding us back to become who we truly are.
Exactly. Whether it's leaving a job that's crushing your soul,
right,
ending a relationship that no longer serves you, or simply letting go of limiting beliefs.
Totally.
There's a bit of the camel, the lion, and the child in all of us.
Yeah, this is getting really interesting.
Yeah.
But it also makes me think about those folks who seem to avoid transformation altogether, you know, the backworldsmen.
Yes, the backworldsmen.
Yeah, you said something earlier about them clinging to old comforts.
Yeah, they represent those who seek solace and meaning in a realm beyond the physical world, whether it's through religion, spiritualism, or other forms of escapism.
I have to admit, there was a time when I kind of resonated with Zarathustra's initial view. Yeah. This idea that this world was created by a suffering God, that maybe there's something more out there, something better.
Yeah.
But you're saying Nietzsche ultimately rejects this view.
He comes to argue that these heavenly paths are distractions from the real work of creating meaning within this life.
Right.
He sees them as a way of avoiding the challenges and responsibilities that come with embracing our earthly existence.
So it's a bit like saying, stop looking to the sky for answers.
Right.
The answers, if there are any, are right here.
That's right.
In the dirt, under our fingernails.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't it be easier if there was some cosmic plan, some divine purpose laid out for us?
Perhaps.
Right.
But Nietzsche challenges us to consider that maybe creating our own meaning.
Right.
Finding our own purpose is a more fulfilling, albeit more demanding path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
It's like the easy way out versus the hard way that's going to get you to where you need to be.
Exactly.
And I can see why people would be hesitant to go down that road.
Oh, absolutely. It's much easier to...
It's comfortable.
Follow a predetermined path.
Yeah, it's comfortable to just be told what to do and where to go.
Yeah, but where does that lead you?
That's the question, isn't it?
That's the question Nietzsche's posing.
But you know, sometimes reality bites, and I feel like that's where we bump into.
Sometimes it bites hard.
Yeah.
Especially when you stumble upon those preachers of death. That's where things take a darker turn in Zarathustra's journey.
Oh, yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
They're a lot.
They are.
A lot.
Intense.
They're intense. It's like Nietzsche took all the doom and gloom from a Gothic novel and packed it into these figures who revel in suffering and basically advocate for escaping life altogether.
Their pronouncements are chilling. Life is only suffering, they say.
Ooh, yeah.
A fool he who remaineth alive?
Yeah, I read those lines and I was like, whoa, okay.
Right.
Dial it back a little bit.
They offer a bleak outlook, to say the least.
Yeah, I was like, this got real dark real fast. But then I started to think, why would anyone preach such a pessimistic view? Is it genuine compassion for humanity's struggles, or is there something more insidious at play?
That's the question Nietzsche wants us to grapple with. Are these preachers motivated by a genuine desire to alleviate suffering? Or are they exploiting people's fears and vulnerabilities for their own gain?
It's a good question.
Perhaps they crave power or control, and what better way to achieve it than by convincing people that life is inherently miserable?
Whoa, okay. That's a pretty cynical take. But I can see how it applies to some of the stuff we see today. Like, think about those online communities that seem to glorify depression or nihilism.
Right.
It's almost trendy to be super pessimistic these days.
It's a fascinating and somewhat unsettling parallel.
Right.
Nietzsche was writing over a century ago, yet his insights about the allure of negativity and the potential for manipulation still resonate today. He's urging us to be discerning consumers of information, especially when it comes to messages that encourage passivity or resignation.
Yeah, don't drink the Kool-Aid just because everybody else is doing it.
Exactly. Think for yourself.
Right.
Question what you're being told.
Right. It's like he's saying, don't let these preachers of gloom steal your agency. You have the power to create your own meaning, even amidst the inevitable struggles of existence.
Precisely. And it's not just the preachers of death we need to be wary of.
Oh, no.
Nietzsche also takes aim at more subtle forms of societal pressure, particularly when it comes to conventional notions of virtue.
Okay, so he's not a fan of those who preach selflessness and focus on rewards.
Right.
Whether it's in this life or some supposed afterlife.
Yeah, he sees through that.
It's like he's seeing through the facade of piety, asking, is your goodness just a way to assert power or inflate your ego?
There's a great line where Zarathustra asks, is it your virtue that is insatiable in desiring to bestow?
Ooh.
It's a piercing observation.
Yeah.
Nietzsche's challenging us to examine the motivations behind our actions, even those that appear altruistic.
It's easy to like put on the mask of we're doing good.
Yeah.
And, you know, toot your own horn. But are you really doing it for the right reasons?
Exactly. So he's really advocating for an authentic expression of our will rather than a suppression of our desires and instincts just to fit some predefined mold of what's considered good or virtuous.
That's right. He wants us to be true to ourselves.
I find that incredibly liberating.
It is liberating.
To just be like, you know what? This is me.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
And it ties into another one of Nietzsche's warnings.
Okay.
The danger of the rabble.
The rabble.
He uses this term to describe the unthinking masses.
Okay.
Those who blindly follow the herd.
Oh, yeah.
Conforming to societal expectations without questioning or challenging them. He sees this as a threat to individual growth and self-realization.
It makes me think about all the times I felt pressured to conform.
Yeah.
Even when it went against my own values or intuition.
Right.
That need to fit in, to be accepted.
Right.
It can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Even stifling at times.
Absolutely. We all experience that pressure to some degree.
Yeah. But Nietzsche reminds us that true strength lies in resisting the pull of the crowd, in forging our own path, even if it means standing apart.
It's that classic battle between conformity and authenticity.
Yeah.
We all want to belong, but at what cost?
Right.
Nietzsche seems to be saying, don't sacrifice your individuality on the altar of social acceptance.
Be bold.
Be bold.
Be different.
Yes, be different.
Be you.
Which I have to say is a pretty inspiring message.
I think so.
But, let's be real.
Yeah.
Sometimes Nietzsche's ideas can be a bit
out there.
Out there.
A little strange.
Yeah, I mean, some of the encounters Zarathustra has on his journey are downright bizarre.
They are peculiar.
We got a fire dog.
A fire dog.
A man with ridiculously oversized ears.
Uh-huh.
And then, for good measure, the ugliest man.
Yeah, I can't forget about him.
I mean, what's all that about?
Right.
Like Nietzsche raided a surrealist art exhibit for inspiration.
Maybe he did.
But I'm guessing there's more to these encounters than meets the eye.
Definitely, these aren't just random fantastical creatures. Each encounter is a carefully crafted parable.
Okay.
Designed to provoke us, to challenge our assumptions, to make us think differently about the world and our place in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Game.
Right.
Decode these parables for me.
Let's do it.
Let's start with the fire dog.
The fire dog.
What is that all about?
Think of the fire dog as representing those societal structures and institutions that have become stagnant.
Okay.
Rigid, even oppressive.
Yeah.
They might have once served a purpose, but now they're just smoldering embers holding back progress and renewal.
So it's like those outdated traditions or beliefs that we cling to even though they no longer serve us.
Precisely. And what does Zarathustra do with the fire dog?
Well, he probably doesn't pet it.
He doesn't pet it.
Right.
He helps it transform to burn brighter, to become a source of light and warmth rather than a symbol of decay. It's a metaphor for the transformative power of challenging the status quo. Yeah. Of shaking things up to allow for new growth.
I'm starting to see the pattern here.
What's that?
Each encounter seems to be pushing us towards self-discovery, towards questioning everything we thought we knew.
Yeah, Nietzsche wants us to think for ourselves.
What about that guy with the giant ears?
Oh, the man with the big ears.
He's always creeped me out a little bit.
He embodies those who passively consume information and opinions without ever truly engaging deeply or critically.
Right.
They're all ears, so to speak, but they lack the discernment to filter what they hear, to form their own opinions, to contribute anything meaningful to the world.
Ouch. I feel personally attacked there.
Maybe a little.
But you're right.
Yeah.
We live in an age of information overload, and it's easy to get swept up in the noise without ever really stopping to think for ourselves.
It's a trap Nietzsche was already warning us about back in the 19th century.
Yeah.
And it's a trap that's become even more pervasive in our hyper-connected world.
Absolutely. It's everywhere you go.
He's urging us to be more than just passive consumers.
Yeah.
He wants us to be active creators, to engage with ideas critically,
Right.
to contribute our own unique voices to the conversation.
Okay, so that's the fire dog and the beers now for the main event.
Let's do it.
The ugliest man.
All right.
Honestly, this one always throws me for a loop.
Yeah.
Why the emphasis on ugliness?
The ugliest man represents something much deeper than just physical appearance.
Okay.
He symbolizes the darker, more difficult aspects of existence, the shadow side of life that we often try to avoid or deny.
Right.
It's those parts of ourselves that we deem unacceptable, the fears, the doubts, the primal urges that we try to keep hidden from the world and maybe even from ourselves.
It's like that saying, everyone's got skeletons in their closet.
Yeah.
But Nietzsche's like, open up that closet door.
Yeah.
Confront those skeletons.
Let's take a look.
Don't let them fester in the darkness.
He believed that confronting our shadow, even though it can be a painful and unsettling process, is essential for authentic growth.
I'm starting to see why Nietzsche has such a reputation for being a bit...
Intense. Right. Yeah, he's not afraid to delve into the depths of human experience, both the beautiful and the ugly.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
But, you know, amidst all this talk of self-overcoming and confronting difficult truths, there's also this surprising emphasis on joy in Zarathustra.
Yeah.
You know, his dance songs, his declarations about embracing both sorrow and delight. It's all very emotionally charged.
You're right. Nietzsche wasn't all doom and gloom.
Okay, good.
In fact, he saw joy as an essential component of a meaningful life.
Okay.
And this is where the concept of eternal recurrence comes into play.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of his most mind-bending ideas.
Eternal recurrence I've heard of. Isn't that the one where you imagine living your life over and over and over again?
And again, for all eternity.
For all eternity, exactly. It's a thought experiment, really.
Okay. Imagine reliving every single moment of your life with all its joys and sorrows, its triumphs and failures, its mundane moments and its extraordinary ones. And you relive it not just once,
right,
but infinitely.
Okay. That's either the most amazing thing ever,
right,
or a recipe for existential dread.
It could be.
I mean, what if your life is kind of,
yeah.
Who wants to be stuck in a cosmic rerun of mediocrity forever?
It's the point, isn't it?
Okay.
The concept of eternal recurrence isn't meant to be taken literally.
Okay.
It's a tool for evaluating how you're living your life right now.
Okay.
If you had to relive every moment,
right,
would you choose to live it exactly as you are now?
That's a heavy question.
It is a heavy question.
Suddenly that extra slice of pizza doesn't seem so appealing anymore.
Right. It makes you reevaluate your choices, your priorities.
Yeah. Are we spending our time, our precious finite time,
That's right,
in a way that truly aligns with who we are and what we want our lives to be about?
That's the question.
So it's like Nietzsche is holding up a mirror and saying, look, this is your life. Are you proud of it?
Would you do it again?
Would you choose to do it all again exactly as it is?
Exactly as it is.
Wow. That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. It's daunting, but also kind of exhilarating.
It is.
Maybe a little terrifying.
A little bit of both.
But it's good.
It's meant to be all of those things.
Yeah.
And this is where Nietzsche's emphasis on embracing both joy and sorrow becomes so crucial.
Okay.
He doesn't see them as opposites, but as two sides of the same coin.
Okay.
They're both essential parts of a fully lived, meaningful life.
It's that whole you can't have the light without the darkness kind of thing.
Exactly.
But Nietzsche takes it a step further, doesn't he?
He does.
There's this line in Zarathustra that really struck me. Joy deeper still than grief can be.
Powerful line.
That's not exactly your typical Hallmark card sentiment.
No, not at all.
Right.
It's a profound insight.
Nietzsche is suggesting that experiencing the depths of sorrow, of confronting the hard truths of existence, actually allows us to access even more profound levels of joy.
Wow.
It's as if by facing the darkness, we gain a greater appreciation for the light.
It's almost like saying that the most joyful moments in life are only truly meaningful because we've also experienced pain, loss, struggle.
Precisely. And it's through this embrace of the totality of life with its inherent contradictions.
Right.
Its ups and downs.
Yeah.
Its moments of both exquisite beauty and heart-wrenching ugliness.
That's a lot.
It is that we inch closer to Nietzsche's vision of the Superman.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into Thus Spoke Zarathustra.
We have.
We've explored some pretty challenging ideas about self-overcoming the pitfalls of conventional morality, the importance of questioning everything, and the power of embracing life's full spectrum of experiences, even the messy, uncomfortable parts.
Oh,
that's a lot to digest.
It is. And remember, this is just a glimpse into the rich and complex world of Nietzsche's thought.
Yeah.
Thus Spoke Zarathustra is a book that demands to be wrestled with, argued with, reread, and reinterpreted.
It's not a one-and-done kind of book.
Not at all.
Right.
It's not about finding easy answers, but rather about asking the right questions that can shake us out of our complacency and lead us on our own journeys of self-discovery.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a book that stays with you long after you've finished reading it.
It lingers.
I have a feeling I'll be pondering these ideas for quite some time.
I think you will.
So, as we wrap up, here's a final thought to ponder. Inspired by Zarathustra's own journey.
Okay.
Imagine you spent 10 years in solitude contemplating life's big questions.
Why, right.
What wisdom would you bring back down the mountain to share with the world? What would your Thus Spoke Zarathustra sound like?
That's a great question.
It is.
What wisdom do you have to share?
Right.
Keep that question in mind as you continue to explore Nietzsche's work in your own unique path.
Until next time, keep seeking. Keep questioning and keep embracing the beautiful complexity of this wild ride we call life.
Good advice. Thanks.